Yo, what's up? It's Jason. I'm back again with another video and another collection update here, if you will, on the road. I am in the GTA area. Got to meet up actually this week with buddy, local friend here, Brian, aka Embryonic Robot. We did a nice little dig downtown. It was a great day of digging, but we didn't do any video actually showing the stuff, so I'm going to show the stuff now. Also that day I picked up a stack of CDs as well. So I'm going to show the vinyl and CDs today, and then I'm going to also do a video for the DVDs that I picked up as well while I'm out of town in Toronto area. So let's kick it off, if you will, with this sucker right here. Really cool experimental record. Never heard of this group, this project before. It's from Indonesia, and it's called Sen Yawa. I guess I don't know if I'm butchering that or not, but album's called Alcasa, and it's basically open for reissue or release by any label. They can change the artwork, I guess. They can remaster it as well. This happens to be a Belgian reissue or version on Les Ateliers Close label out of Belgium, and this came out in 2021. So what it is some really cool experimental music, some using some traditional, I guess, Indonesian vibes, concepts, ideas, with electronics as well as other instruments. It's harsh and jarring a little bit at times, but quite listenable. Feels a little bit like an Indonesian version of classic Anches Button, maybe not quite as clangy as that. It was a cool pickup, and this was brand new for just 20 bucks. This was the old red sticker deals. If you've watched some of Brian's videos, he was showing a lot of stuff from the sale bin on the same shop in Toronto. Now, next up, we got another white cover and another experimental record. This is, of course, Drew McDowell. And the third in this series, I actually have the first one of his solo work that came out for this. Yeah, Drew McDowell, one of the members of Coil. I guess he joined up a little bit later on with the band in the 90s anyway. Didn't realize this also about Drew McDowell, but he was also tour manager or management of some sort for the Shaman as well. So that's kind of an interesting factoid. They were like a 80s into 90s UK rave band, kind of like Happy Mondays, etc. Found rave and never came back. But this, Drew McDowell, yeah, excellent record. Ambient, drone, dark at times, quite interesting. Not boring from the previews that I heard anyway. So this is the third Helix on Dace label. This one here, New York-based label, I think. He's based in New York these days as well, Drew McDowell. So would love to catch a live set of his sometime now that I've got two of his records. Kind of prefer this over Coil stuff that I've heard so far, so take that for what it may. It's a good experimental. Again, 20 bucks. Now next we go hot and spicy here. We are going to go deep into the New York queer scene of the 80s. Pre-AIDS, I guess, during AIDS. This is an interesting release. Got reissued from Dark Entries, one of my fave labels out of LA, or are they out of San Fran, actually, California. But yeah, here you got this guy, Roy Garrett. He, porn star, I guess, New York-based porn star, and part-time poet. So they took basically his poems that he was writing and storylines, put it to music, teamed up with man of the hour in the 80s, Man Parrish, really cool electro producer from back in the day. I think he's still around. I don't know. He's got a long storied career too, but yeah, Man Parrish, excellent music, really kind of edgy stuff, storytelling going on in this one. But yeah, 48 song cycle. I wanted to pick this up for a little while. It came out in like 2020, maybe 2019. Originally released on cassette in 1985. So Dark Entry's always good at unearthing these like obscure, really cool 80s synth stuff. So yeah, Roy Garrett arrived in New York City, specifically Times Square, hungry for the sex and porn scenes advertised in the Village Voice, and it all kind of evolved or devolved from there. So yeah, this is quite the record. It's got an insert, obviously booklet in there. I'm not going to show that on the camera, but you can probably take your own guess at how spicy that one is. But yeah, 1980s. This is a hype sticker. Hot Rod to Hell, by the way, is the name of the release. If you hadn't noticed, 1980s New York gay porn star turned poet teams up with electronic disco maestro Van Parrish for a snapshot of the gay history, hustling, and glory holes to murder. Wow, there you go. Dark Entry's release. Pretty heavy stuff. Next, segue into heaviness. All right, we'll go there. This is Pole, aka Steven Beckta, I think. Is that his name? But yeah, German producer. You can't see anything on this, but there's red on this somewhere. Anyway, this is Pole number 2. This is a reissue, actually. And again, we got these great deals. These red sticker prices means like, well, in this case, it was $15 off the original price. This record, Pole 2, excellent dub style techno, very minimal dub techno, made mostly digitally. So you get some pretty low frequencies, etc. He's also a master of doing record mastering, etc. in Berlin. So he knows how to put it together. Mute Records of UK reissued this one. I didn't have the original, the OG of this, but I do have some OG Pole records. This originally came out in 99. 2020 reissue. So some minimal techno there. Now, speaking of minimal techno, we have this one. Brand new release. I think this is a 2023 release. Picked this up at Sonic Boom, different shop, but while we were shopping with Brian. This is a Rapati Deluxe. I think I'm saying that right. I don't know. Rapati is aka Sasha Rapati, which is aka Vladislav Delay. Puts out some pretty cool IDM techno over the years. Usually like more ambient stuff, but I noticed his later stuff has got more edgy and more aggressive. This one, yeah, it's a bit more on the aggressive. It's fast, basically. The album's called Speed Demon, and it's kind of like listening to like speed metal, but if it was digital IDM. So not exactly breakcore, but it's fast stuff. Anyway, 6 tracks inside A, 7 on the other. It's on Rajaton Records. Some stuff gets put out on its own label, Rapati Records. But this is on Rajaton. But yeah, it's kind of a cool pickup. I've been on a bit of a Vladislav Delay tip lately. This is the first one that he's put out as a Rapati Deluxe. We'll see if he does more in this kind of series. This is the back of that cover. Pretty cool. So that one was a pricey. That was probably the most expensive of all the vinyl I've shown so far. Then 2 used records here to show. I got this Mark Stewart and the Mafia record, the debut album. I have a really killer, Soul Jazz Records put out a really killer compilation of his stuff many years back, which is pretty essential. Mark Stewart, of course, I know him from Tackhead. This is on the On You Sound label, Adrian Sherwood's label from Tackhead. And I didn't realize this until just now, really, but the Mafia, Mark Stewart and the Mafia members are also in Tackhead. Keith LeBlanc, Skip Wimbish, yeah, that whole gang. There's like 2 or 3 of them, and they actually were in the Sugar Hill Gang label out of New York in the 80s. So that's a long story, but Mark Stewart is just amazing shit. Really raw, kind of edgy sound collage style, kind of like Cab Voltaire, old school Cab Voltaire, political edge, beats, some dub influence as well. Just really cool shit. And guess what? Produced by Adrian Sherwood as well. So, didn't have this in the collection. kind of essential to have. I have some of his 12-inch singles and that compilation, etc. I'm a huge Tackhead fan, so Mark Stewart also can do no wrong. He was also founding member of the Pop Group. I think that was his post-punk band. So this is a used copy. It says VG, but I think it's more close to VG Plus. They kind of underscore them. This one's a little bit beaten up, but I got this for $2. So this is the last but not least. We got Emily here, DJ Emily. Don't know a lot about her, but she only put out a couple of singles, I guess. And this one is really a good one. It's called the Disco Bandit EP on Yoshitoshi label out of the 90s, out of Washington, D.C. So some D.C. house here. This came out in 1999. And Yoshitoshi, of course, is the Dubfire Deep Dish record label, which is Dubfire and Sharam. They're still producing. They're still DJing. The label, I think, has since gone, but this was a good release on that label, especially for $2. Good 12-inch. All right, so let's wrap it up now with some of the CDs, which I promise will not be as obscure as the last pile of wax. So if you're an obscurist, you can tune out now. If you're not an obscurist, you probably didn't make it this far anyway, but what the hell. So, story on these, got a whole bunch of these CDs, pretty cheap. These are all like $6-7 each. Some of them are kind of for listening, away from home, on the road, etc. So most of these I actually have already on vinyl, like this one, some ELP. Picked up Brain Salad Surgery for only $7, so can't go wrong with that. Some prog there. I've got The Cure, Standing on the Sea, excellent compilation. The singles. I used to have this on cassette as a kid back in the day. It's the first time I picked this up on CD. $6. I will take that. For $7, I got Sonic Youth, Sister. I'm not as familiar with this record, although I do have a 12-inch, I think, EP from this. This is, they're on David Geffen at this point. They've gone major label, but I think it's still kind of raw, a little bit raw, edgy from their earlier punk days. I prefer their first two albums, of course. I've went on record for that before. I think this is before the Goo album, when they kind of make their shift towards a slightly more alternative sound. Next up, a huge record of the 90s. Still kicking myself that I sold this vinyl. Used to have this on vinyl. OG copy, which goes for over $100 now for sure, if you can find it. But yeah, Screamadelica, classic record by this, what do you call, shoegaze band from the UK, Primal Scream. And it's all about the production on this thing too, right? So in 1991, this came out. Loaded, Come Together, Moving On Up. Great soulful record, actually. But at the time, I think we've kind of lumped it in with some of my house records and sort of the 90s sort of rave dance scene was all over this record. Picked up another Tom Waits. Decided to grab another one of these. There was a ton of these actually at the shop I was at. This was only $6, or small change as it's called. Yeah, 11 tracks. Don't think I recognize anything on here right off the bat, but I might when I hear it. Haven't listened to this one yet. Originally came out in 76. I don't know where that stands in his catalog. He's got a ton of records. This is about the fourth Tom Waits CD I've got, so I'm trying to pace myself. I'm trying not to do too many. There was a bunch more there. I could have grabbed like half the catalog, right? I thought I'll just do one a week, one a month, something like that. Picked up a classic Thin Lizzy. This is called Thin Lizzy. It's Thunder and Lightning on Vertigo. Didn't have this before. Looking forward to rocking this. Always enjoy some Thin Lizzy. This is from 1983. Cool CD. $7. Deep Purple Machine Head. Yeah. So, got it again. Second copy of Deep Purple's Machine Head. It is a classic. So it has all the big classics on this. Highway Star, Smoke on the Water, etc. What will I do with a second or third copy of that? I'm not sure, but I'll play it. Last but not least, get some jazz to finish off the CD buying this week. Monk's Dream by Thelonious Monk Quartet, an excellent jazz record. Digitally remastered. Digital remasters here for all those audiophiles. Cover your ears. from original analog tapes, Columbia Jazz Series, and it looks like it's in a player somewhere. So there you go. That's my update of vinyl and CD for this week. Collection update. There'll be some more. Don't worry. And I'll probably make another video now for the DVDs that I picked up. And I'll see you guys. Oh, I'll put some clips actually of flipping through the crates on this week's record shopping. See you guys in the next one.